Oh my gosh, it's so hot today. Oh, awful. Awful, 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 awful. This is not why we live here. Oh. You guys get to see the same footage every week. Are you guys melting?
No, it's ice cold out.
Uh-huh. You're trying to convince yourself?
I'm freezing.
That won't work on me.
Where do you get hot, you know?
Oh man, that's going to be a pain in the butt to ship, but it's so cool.
I'm going to put it right here.
I did not realize how big it was. I mean, I saw the measurements, but visually I wasn't imagining that it was this huge. Maybe the shipping won't be that bad on that. These are so pretty. Cool.
That's great. Let me see if I got some bubble wrap around here.
If you just have like a sheet of paper, paper that I can stick between them, that's fine. Once I get them in the car, they'll be okay.
I think I'll be okay. This can actually go on the front seat.
This is really pretty.
That must be hers. I got you. Well,
Excuse me.
I got my chair for
Yeah, thank you. It'd be like having a baby backwards.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it came in right. Pushed the wrong way. Awesome. Thank you. Are you going to carry? Oh, thank you. Here, just throw it on the seat lengthwise. It should fit, I think. Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to have to undo the back from inside the car. Thank you. Hello, Fat Grandma here. It is Sunday, July 9th. If this is your first time here, my name is Paula. I have a very small eBay store. I occasionally sell on Poshmark. I actually had a Poshmark sale this past week. What I normally do is talk about my sales for the past week, and then I'll go into any personal stuff that's going on, or, whatever. I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July if you celebrated. You guys saw some footage before this. That was an auction pickup from last weekend. I had 2 separate days that I picked things up from 2 separate auction houses, and that was footage from one of them. Anyway, one of the items sold this past week already, and so you'll see that. Let's see, my Poshmark sold was a cat cookie jar, and this was in with an auction lot of some coffee mugs and just some other household kind of things, and nothing else from that lot has sold yet, but this sale will cover the cost of that lot plus a little bit of profit. Anyway, the cookie jar, it was a pretty decent sized cookie jar, and it wasn't light, but it stayed under the 5-pound threshold for the Poshmark shipping labels. And anyway, it sold for $13. My profit is $10 and some change. The lot that I purchased was $5, so it paid for that lot, and I'm in the profit a little bit. And the other items from that are listed, so at some point hopefully they'll sell. One of the other things it was a 4-pack of Christmas mugs that have different, maybe I'll share a picture up here with you guys. Each mug has a different image on it, but they all go together. It was cute. And mugs aren't a big thing for sales on eBay, but I have an addiction for whatever reason with picking up coffee mugs, and especially if they're weird or different, unusual, whatever. So, and these were very cute. And, if I lived somewhere where I could had my own kitchen again, at some point I will, hopefully, fingers are crossed. And I had company ever coming over, these mugs would be perfect because they all go together, but they're different. Anyway, enough about that. So that was my Poshmark sale. My eBay sales. Here we go. I'm in a blabby mood tonight, so you'll have to forgive me if I get distracted and I trail off. Sleep has been weird this past week, so kind of out there a little bit. And my allergies are bothering me. I don't know why. Probably because I have my fan pointed at me pretty much 24/7. Anyway, my first eBay sale was a lot of 4 vintage I can read children's books, and they were hardcover, ages 2 to 6. They sold for $9.49, and with shipping it was $14.81. Those have been listed for quite a while. And I had watchers here and there. I had a lot of books that I purchased, and I cannot even remember when I got these. They were with a bunch of others, and I think some have sold. I don't even know. It's been so long. But if nothing else has sold from that lot, this sale would have paid for that because, and I'm pretty sure I sold one of the books that was in that lot. But if not, I would have only at the most paid $5 for it. So, okay, the next sale is actually, these next 3 items were the same buyer. And it's weird, this person never leaves feedback. They never respond when I message them. They purchased from me once before, months ago, like last year, maybe around the same time. I can't even remember. The name looked familiar though, and then it said repeat buyer, and I was like, So I went back and I looked, and sure enough, I'd left feedback for her. She never communicates at all. And it's weird because she bought 3 things last time too. I don't understand, but I'm not going to complain. Anyway, that trinket, that bronze finished trinket box that I showed you guys in the last video, she bought it. It sold for $18.99, and it looks like it sold for $18.99. And I'm not going to give you the shipping because everything went together, and I ended up giving her a refund for part of it because she bought each item individually. I hate that eBay doesn't make it easier for buyers to add things together, and I do immediate payment because I'm not dealing with chasing people, so it's just the way it is. Anyway, she got a refund for part of the shipping. So that trinket box sold for $18.99, and it wasn't even listed for a week. You guys saw it in the last video, so that was good. That was a good pickup, and there was another trinket box with that one, and I only paid $5 plus fees and stuff, so maybe $6 for both of the boxes, and I still have the other one that I can sell. So yeah, I'm in the profit on that, and even if I didn't have that other one, it's still, for me, this is a decent amount of profit. So I'm good. The next item I sold to the same person was a 3 geishas, hand painted, little tiny bud vase, and it was only 3.5 inches tall. It was very small. I picked this up, and I'm telling you, it's been over a year. This has been listed for a very long time. I didn't know if it was ever going to sell. I picked it up with 2 other little tiny bud vases, and those 2, the first 2 sold almost immediately, and they sold for a lot. I got a lot of money for those. In the grand scheme of things, for me it was a lot. I think it was like $80 I sold them for. I can't even remember, but they were tiny, and so, that was a good sale. And so this has been just sitting, and it finally sold for $5.29. And again, I'm not going to, the shipping, everything was lumped together. The last item that she purchased was a heavy brass pedestal pitcher made in India. Kind of looked Middle Eastern or medieval. It was It was pretty cool, but it was very heavy. Anyway, she purchased that for $15.99. I don't remember what the total shipping was for everything. It wasn't cheap because two of the items, that trinket box, the peacock trinket box, and that pitcher, that pedestal pitcher, were both very heavy. Um, the little tiny bud vase, I wrapped it really well with bubble wrap, and I put it in its own little box inside with the other two items. And I wrapped each of those in the large bubble wrap also, so they wouldn't beat each other up while they were traveling. I cut the box down, I Frankensteined it so that once everything was in there and I closed the box, nothing would move. So hopefully they'll get there safely. I don't know when they're supposed to arrive, but if I remember correctly, she bought some things that could break last time too. So I don't know what this buyer's story is, but when she buys from me, it's like once a year and she buys three things and it's usually a decent amount of money. It's a decent sale. 'Cause I think she spent, let's see, 20, 30, almost, well, around $40 plus shipping. And again, the shipping was not cheap. Okay, the next item I sold. So that's four things so far. This was a good week for me. For me, this was a good week. Next item I sold was a vintage Nordic ware multi-pot microwave or conventional oven. And it had no lid with it, and it sold for $7.99. It was kind of scratched in the bottom. There was nothing fancy about it, but anyway, with shipping, it was $19.34. It was in a lot with a bunch of other stuff, and it was just this random thing. And I've had it sitting around. I hadn't listed it, and I finally did. I think it was listed for maybe a month at the most, and someone purchased it. And it's old too. You never know what people are going to buy. It's so random. I mean, sometimes you can predict people will buy this, but some stuff you just don't know. The next item I sold was one of the items that I got for when I was reviewing for that company. I told you guys about that. I would get things occasionally, and I'm no longer doing reviews for them. So I'm selling some of the stuff that I will never use. This was a projection alarm clock with nature sounds, and it was a Sharp brand. Anyway, I got an offer, and I went ahead and took it because it was like, didn't cost me anything, and I don't want it sitting around anymore. It was back there on my boxes. You guys may have seen it at one point, depending on how I had the camera facing. Anyway, it sold for $12, and with shipping, it was $24.88. Let's see. The next item I sold is something I just got a couple weeks ago in an auction, and I paid $5 plus fees, so maybe $6 at the most. It was a vintage Disneyland Attractions 6-cup metal serving tray, and it was round. It was black. It was kind of beat up. It wasn't in horrible condition, but it was definitely, had seen some. It was put to use. It was used for sure. Anyway, it sold for $15.99, and with shipping, it was $23.71. So that was a good pickup. I didn't make a ton of profit, but I more than doubled my money, so I'm happy. Let's see. The next item I sold, and you will have seen this in the footage at the beginning of this video, was that wood turkey carving board. This thing was humongous, and the box was big. The size of the cutting board with a carving board was 24 by 15, and it was heavy. Anyway, it sold for $50, and with shipping, it was $90.13. This thing, there was no cheap way to get it to them. They were in South Carolina, the buyer, and they made me an offer. I had it listed, I think, for $75. I can't remember. And I didn't have it listed for very long, not even a week, because I didn't list it the second that I picked it up. It took me until the middle of the week before I got it listed. When they sent me the offer for $50, I was like, you know what? I can sit on this thing and wait until someone else, buys it or makes me an offer, and it's more money. Or I can get it out of here because it's huge, and make a decent profit. I paid $5 plus fees, so at the most $6 I paid for this, and it sold for $50, and I didn't even have it for a week. So I'm fine with that. I made a decent profit. I also knew, because when someone makes you an offer, you can see where they live, and I looked to see how much it was going to cost for shipping for them, and knowing that they were going to be paying $40 in shipping, I decided that I would go ahead and accept their offer because that's a lot, these cutting boards or these carving boards, they retail new from the website, I think, yeah, $138 plus shipping. So, they got a good deal. I made a decent amount of profit, and they paid less than retail would have been. The company Arthur Court does not make this particular carving board anymore. They make others that are similar, but this particular style with the turkeys on each end of it, they don't make anymore. So, I'm good with it. That was a nice sale. The next item I sold is something I picked up, and I sold all three of them. They were red lacquer soap slash trinket boxes from the Peninsula, Hong Kong, which is a hotel. They were really cool trinket boxes. They actually hold soap. But when I first researched these to come up with a price and to decide that I wanted to bid on them in the auction, everybody had them listed as vintage and yada, had they're old and all this other stuff. And when I got them home, I took my photos and then I started looking into it. And I actually contacted the hotel to find out how long they've been using, because the hotel's still there in Hong Kong. And I contacted them to find out how long they've been putting these trinket boxes in the hotel rooms. They're still doing it. So if you go to Hong Kong and stay in this hotel, you can still pick up these trinket boxes or these soap boxes. And so I wrote about it in the description for the item because a lot of people have these listed as vintage or antique, and they're not, you know. And maybe it's unfair of me to do that. But I'd rather be honest with my customers, and have them buy something. They have the actual facts about the item. If I know what the truth is, I'm going to share it. Anyway, the hotel started using these soap boxes in the rooms around 2010. So, this isn't something that's been around forever and they've been putting in the hotel rooms for, 50 years or anything like that. But they are really cool items. So, anyway, that's the story behind those. I sold all three of them for $24 plus shipping. And with the shipping, it was $38.92. I had them listed for higher, but somebody made me an offer and I took it because I've had them listed for a couple of months now. And people were looking at them, but, nobody was biting. So I went ahead and took the offer. And again, I don't actually take offers. If I get an offer from someone, I tell them, I decline their offer and I tell them that I will reduce the price to their offer price and then they can just buy it outright because I have immediate payment required. That way I don't have to wait around for people to pay me. So, but that was a decent sale because I only paid $8 for all three of these trinket boxes and I sold them for $24. So I doubled my money on, what I paid. And I'm fine with that, And okay, the next item I sold, and this has been listed for a very, very long time. I kept reducing the price, and finally someone bought it. It was a rare antique Stenthal china oval tray dish, hand-painted mint green with pansies, and that's exactly how I had it listed. I've moved the words around over the past year. This was purchased with a lot of dishes, and all very old, and I've sold a lot of things from that lot, and so I'm in, this is all profit. Anyway, it sold for $8.36, and it was $17.44 with shipping. I'm hoping this thing gets there in one piece because it was very weird to package up. It was very long and thin and very breakable, you know. Had it been a higher priced item, I would have used some of that stuff that I bought the cheaper brand, but it's this foam stuff that you crack the package and then you mush it around, and it inflates and hardens around the item, when you have it in the box. I don't know if I explained that right. But anyway, if this had been like over $40 or maybe more, maybe 50, I would have used one of those. I wish I could think of the name of it. I'll put it up here in the corner. Brain fart. Um, Anyway, okay. Let's see. The next item I sold was a Signature Housewares ramekin stoneware bowl. It had a pretty ornate pattern on it. It was just a weird little bowl. I picked it up for $1 at a Goodwill that I happened to go into. It was raining, and I went into this Goodwill, and there weren't very many things that I picked up, but this is one of the things that was cheap, and it sold for $4.75, and with shipping it was $12.55. The buyer had zero feedback, so this is somebody who's brand new to eBay. Um, they made me an offer, and again, I declined it, but I told them that I would reduce it to their offer price, and they purchased it. So hopefully it goes well. But if it doesn't, it's not that much money, so I'm not too worried about it. The last item I sold was an NFL Pittsburgh Steelers white gorilla in a jacket. It was a little plush. It was 12 inches, and it had the tags still. It sold for $6, and with shipping it was $12.25. So not a great sale. There were quite a few sales under $10 this week, but I had some really good ones too. So, the 3 items for the one buyer was a very good sale, and then the turkey cutting board or carving board was a really good sale too. So I did a total for you guys. Yeah, so it looks like around $115 profit this week after cost of goods and boxes and things like that. Around 115. So much better than the past weeks have gone for me. It's so far anyway, it seems to be getting a little bit better. Now we're in the middle of summer, so we could have another dip, but my sales have been increasingly getting a little bit better each week over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm once again very hopeful that this is a trend. And then when September and October roll around, we'll be back into the fourth quarter thing where sales start to pick up again. So although mine were not, because of the type of stuff that I sell, I didn't really see a huge spike in sales during the holidays and stuff, which is probably better. Things don't get really crazy for me, which is, with my brain the way it is some days, it's better that I don't have to make myself crazy trying to deal with it. So that is it for my sales. So I had some stuff that happened this past week, and the reason I look like such a beauty queen tonight is because I went to the gym to try and take my shower tonight, or it was earlier this evening, and got there and found out that they closed at 9 o'clock, and I got there at like, I don't know, 9:15 or something. They'd just closed, and I was not pleased because I really wanted to take my shower tonight, but that's not going to happen until tomorrow night. I found out that they changed their hours. Planet Fitness used to be open 24/7, with the exception of a holiday here and there. They were open all the time. And apparently, because I just looked up, because I've never run into this problem before with them. For those of you who are new and don't know, I can't shower here at the house where I live because we have 2 bathrooms. One of them has a bathtub with no shower head in it. So all you can do in that bathroom is take a bath. I don't do baths, number one. And number two, my mother keeps a litter box in that bathtub with like a bunch of newspaper under it because she's got a bunch of cats. And so it's clean. You can't even smell that they're in the house. But it's almost impossible to clean up in that, even to take a bath would be impossible in that bathroom. So, and then the other bathroom has a shower, no bath, just a shower stall, but there's a leak in the wall now. And it's more of a pain in the butt than it's worth to try and take a shower in that shower stall because she has a garden hose that she runs from the kitchen sink into the shower stall in the bathroom. And my brother, it's been over a year now, she told him about the issue, and he has not come over to do anything about it. She won't call a plumber because she doesn't want strangers in the house. So we have nowhere to clean up here. I don't, anyway. I'm not dealing with the garden hose issue. So I got a membership at Planet Fitness, and I just go there and take my showers. And it's kind of nice because I get out of the house and it's peaceful, and I don't have to worry about anybody needing to come in the bathroom while I'm in there. It's just better. So I can stand in the water for an hour if I feel like it and just take a shower and just relax. But not tonight. So I will be going tomorrow night. Anyway, that's what happened tonight. A few nights ago, I went to pick up my groceries, and because I order my groceries online from Walmart, and then I just go pick them up. And it was like one thing after another that night. So the kid that brought my groceries out was very helpful and very nice. One of my salads that I picked up was going to expire the next day. Or no, there was 3 of them that were going to expire the next day. And I told him, I'm like, I'm the only person eating these, so they'll all get thrown out of, I need to return, I need to return them or not take them with me and just take them off my bill or whatever. And he says, oh, I can run in the store and get new ones for you. And I was like, okay, that's awesome, because they've never offered to do that before. So this kid goes back into the store. And so while he's doing that, I'm getting stuff out of those blue, if you've ever picked up groceries from Walmart, they bring these giant blue totes out on a flatbed, kind of a dolly type thing. And so I'm taking the groceries out and putting them in my car. What else am I going to do while I'm sitting there? So anyway, my shoe breaks. I have these slides that they look like Crocs, but they're like a knockoff. I think the brand name is Dogs, Dawgs. I can't remember. Anyway, they were really ugly, but they were super squishy and comfortable. And so I always wore those when I was just going to run an errand in the car and I didn't have to be around people, if I didn't have to get out, because they really were very ugly. And but one of them had cracked on one of the it was a slide, so there, the top part goes over your foot. One of them had a crack. Anyway, it broke while I was putting the groceries in my car. I'm like, that's great, one of my shoes. So I took that shoe off, threw it in the car. So I've got one shoe, and I have a clutch in my car. I drive a stick. So so I ended up taking my other shoe off because it was too weird to try and drive with one shoe. And so anyway, I get all my groceries sorted, everything. He brings the new stuff back out, and everything was great. I gave him a tip because it was very nice. He didn't have to go back in and do that. He could have just taken them off of my list, and I would have come home without 3 of my salads that I wanted. Anyway, I get in the car and I get ready to leave, and my battery light comes on my dash, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I've broken my shoe. Now my battery light comes on, and I'm like, okay, I wonder if I'm going to be able to make it home, because it was nighttime. I had my headlights on, I had the air conditioner on. I couldn't turn the air off because I had ice cream and cold stuff in the car. So the whole way home, I'm going, please let me make it home. Please let me make it home. Please don't die on me, because I didn't know if it was my alternator. I didn't know if it was the battery. I just didn't know. And I got home, brought all my groceries in, got them put away. Oh, and on the way bringing my groceries into the house, the handles broke on one of my shopping bags, because I have these, you've probably seen them if you've picked up groceries. They're silver and they're insulated shopping bags, and they have like a cheap plastic handle. Anyway, both handles cracked and broke while I was carrying this bag into the house. So I'm having to hold it by the top, and it's heavy because I put too much stuff in it. So yeah, so that night was, and then I had to call AAA. So they came out after I got all my groceries put away, called AAA. They came out. I got to spend $200 for a new battery. So If I had to pick, though, that was the better option of it being the battery or the alternator, because replacing the alternator would have been a lot more expensive, and my car would have been in the shop for I don't know how long. I don't know where the alternator is on this car, but in past vehicles, it's been in a very obscure location in the engine, and they have to basically take a lot of things apart to get to it, and it just gets very expensive because of the labor. So I was $200 just, but again, it could have been the alternator, and he checked the charging system, I think is what he called it. Anyway, he said, knock on wood, that everything else seems good. It just was the battery. So, and I've driven it um, 2 or 3 times since then, and I drove it tonight, had the lights on and the whole 9 yards, and running the air and everything else, and so far so good. So keep fingers crossed that was all that was wrong with it. Um, anyway, I think that is it for my adventures of the past week. It's enough. I don't need any more. It has been so hot here. I've been taking naps late in the afternoon because I just can't take it anymore. And, it gets up to 87 degrees in here. And I turn my fan on that I've got in front of my air conditioning unit and point it right at the bed. And it's not cold air by the time it gets to me, but it's cooler and it's better than the 87-degree air that's in the room. So, I usually get a couple hours of sleep, and then by the time I wake up, it's gotten down to, around 82 or maybe 80 if I'm lucky. Right now, it is 77 in here, which is, you know, not great, but it's much better than 87. So I will take it. Yeah, so I've been staying up at night to get things done, and you know, it's kind of messing with me mentally a little bit, because I have to be up during the day. In the morning, if I have to run to the post office or do normal people things, and then I'm so hot when I'm awake the rest of the day until I lay down in the afternoon, that I just feel drained all the time. I'm assuming this is what my life is going to be like for the next 2 months, 2.5 months, whatever, until it starts to get down around 100 again and my AC can do what it's, meant to do, which is cool this room. And, again, with no insulation in here, this is as good as it's going to get for now. I just really hope it doesn't go over 115 out, because I don't know if I could handle more than 87 degrees in here. It's pretty bad. Things are better with eBay, so that is good. Very good news, and I can use the extra profit to cover some of that battery expense. That was a surprise that I wasn't happy about. But again, and I'll keep saying this, I got to try and find the good, and the good is that it wasn't the alternator. So, all right, I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe, and I will see you next week with my Souls video. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Bye. What do you want? What are you after? Simon, what are you fussing about? I don't know what you want. You have fresh food. You do, and you have fresh water. I just did your water last night. I did. And we're going to take a nap soon. Is that what you want? Do you want to go to bed? I don't know. I don't know what you're after exactly. Can you see yourself?